Okay.
And first of all, thank you joining the session at a very short notice. And we have been following up with each other for like quite few days.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's true.
and you said you are based in Canada right now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, so just a little introduction about myself. So
Right,
Renad here. I'm based out of Toronto, which is basically Canada.
right,
My background is primarily in management consulting, but
right,
I've actually done my undergrad in psychology, and then I've pursued my grad degree in the business
right.
field only because I wanted to pivot. So I got my MBA back in 2023 from the University of Toronto. I've always been passionate about teaching,
Right.
so this all started like prior to my MBA journey. So
Okay.
when I did psychology, I basically volunteered to help kids who basically had, mental
Right.
issues. I mean,
Amazing.
in dealing with them. So pe basically, people with ADHD, anxiety, and whatnot. And then later on, like during my MBA, I also
Right.
helped or like provided free tutoring sessions to
Mm-hmm.
students who were in undergrad in the areas of commerce, economics, and so forth. And then I also worked as a TA. So that basically meant helping students, understand like really what were the key takeaways from certain lessons that were taught in class by the professor, and then helping them materialize them into requirements for their assignments and so forth.
Perfect.
So really, I've been doing that for a little while. I also taught ESL to Korean kids. So it's kind of interesting. I like teaching, generally speaking. I
Awesome.
also do like dealing with people too. So yeah, I mean, I hope that helps.
I mean, there is no problem in like with you in terms of, dealing with humans is overall what we say. And
Yeah,
especially
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
you have got experience dealing with people like kind of a people more than like, normal people, which is again shows up your potential, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So great, great. And if you can, as a management consultant, like have you worked in any organization or something?
Yeah, of course. So I basically worked with PwC for 6 years and then with Gartner for
Right,
a year and a half. So really that's what I've been doing, really. Like, I mean, technically, ever since I've completed my undergrad degree, I
right.
my career took me straight away into the consulting world. So that's kind of like literally what I've been doing for the past 7, 8 years. It's like my bread and butter, basically.
And are you still a consultant or like it is like you thought of shifting your career altogether or like a,
No, I'm kind of shifting my career, so I'm trying to take it into a different direction. Trying to do like
right,
internal things like, internal strategy, internal ops, but also at the same time do things that I like. So for
right.
example, teaching is one of them. I also like writing. So these are things that I really they keep me going. Let's just put it this way.
I can see that. I can see the passion, of you, like, fueled within you.
Oh, thank
And based upon the experience, like I have personally have experience teaching the adults and only adults. Like I'm really not good with the kids. I lack patience
you.
in terms of that.
Yeah,
But I mean, you have got experience in terms of teaching variety of people, right? With
yeah,
different
yeah, that's right. Different age group.
specialities within them,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
What do you think the most difficult part has been within this journey? And with that difficulty, I think you have become a more better person, overcoming with those difficulties, if you have to say.
So yeah, no worries at all. So I think the most difficult part is getting to realization that everyone has a different way of learning.
Right,
And because generally speaking, like I mean, just think about it. Like when we all went to school, like I think our teachers like basically conveyed the same message to everyone in the class, and it wasn't necessarily
right,
like being processed the same way among the students. So honestly, like I'm against the belief that we need to have like a bigger classroom. I think that's not right or respective. But anyways,
I'm on with you with that point.
yeah, so I think getting to that realization was very important. So I think as a first step for anybody to actually like, make sure that the other person actually retains the knowledge that is being taught and basically resonates with them. You need to understand
Right,
what works better for them and then take it from there. It's not about me, it's about
exactly.
them.
And I think How were you in terms of like, were you initially as patients, like, how did you build up the, the patience level while interacting with these people?
So honestly speaking, I think the management consulting field actually teaches you a lot of patience because you have to deal with a lot of stakeholders. You also have to deal with
Exactly.
your teams and you have to coach your team too, right? So I can't really just tell, a direct report like, hey, can you build a PowerPoint slide? I kind of like need to make sure that they understand what I'm saying. So kind of speak their language, not my language. I
Exactly.
mean, honestly, like initially, I thought that, hey, like this is a little bit standardized, so they're probably gonna understand what I'm trying to say. But then over time, I realized that this doesn't work.
Obviously. I mean, we can't expect, like, their management consultants. I mean, they would have a different way of thinking. I mean, after all, they also think it in
Yeah,
the most simpler way, just the way we do
exactly,
it.
exactly.
Even I fall into that misconception a lot of time with a lot of people where I expect them to be, like super understanding, but at the end we realize they also have their way of understanding things.
Exactly. It's all about like our belief systems, basically.
Right. Usually I don't, interact. I mean, I never get a chance to interact, with the management consultants, let's say. I mean, not that I
Oh,
don't.
okay.
So, because obviously, as a management consultant is one of the profession that has been obviously, glorified a lot, and something that
Yeah,
I also wanted to, always speak with somebody. And now that you have mentioned again, that sounds so, like fancy that, you are dealing with lots of stakeholders and everything.
yeah,
So how does it actually works? And being a management consultant, like the way it has been glorified, is it as glorifying to be working with these stakeholders? And what is the level of risk, always the level of risk that you always work upon? And if you can as well, like walk me through with one of your dealings with any of your clients or any of your stakeholders, and
sure. So how does it work? So I'm just gonna answer. So I'll answer each question at a time. So just answering your first one. So the way it works is, for example, like you're a company and then a certain client, they need some sort of support.
right.
So what they basically do as a first step is they would send out a request for a proposal. So what that
Right.
means is that you as the company, let's say the consulting firm, you send them the proposal of how you're going to be helping that client, and
Exactly.
how you would stand out from other competitors. And then once, let's say you've been selected, and assuming that all negotiations have been completed, the entire process is done, and like things are on the right track. So let's say
Exactly.
you get staffed on a project, and then once you get staffed on a project, you basically have a team of, let's say, 3 to 5. Really depends on the magnitude and the scope of the project. And
Exactly.
then within that project, you basically get paired with client counterparts. So let's say a counterpart project manager, a sponsor, and then like delivery teams, just so that hand in hand with them. Because of course,
Exactly.
like you don't want to work in silos, right? And then you get to understand like, the requirements of the project and then you work upon them. But to your question, to deal with the stakeholders, of course, like you need to set some ground rules in the sense that you need, for example, like stand-up meetings. You would need like weekly progress reports. You want to have like some sort of an open communication just so that
Right.
everything is being delivered in a transparent manner.
Well, that sounds awesome. Any of the highest escalation that you have ever encountered in the 7 years of your journey?
Oh, like was I ever escalated? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I don't, as at least I don't recall that.
All right. Shall we consider it as you have been a very good management consultant, and have taken your profession very seriously and like, with like you were dedicated towards your profession, right?
No, yeah, I definitely believe that I was a good consultant. Yeah, I do believe that like I've had a great career so far, so we're good.
Right, perfect, perfect. That is what the, the clarity that I mean, I
Mm.
like when people take that pride that they have really worked their way out towards their journey. I mean, you deserve it. I mean, if you have,
Thank you.
achieved it,
I really appreciate that.
absolutely, you're welcome. So, if may I know, like, when was the last year or month, was your like final time, working as a consultant?
Yeah, so I basically left Gartner back in December of 2024, and the reason I left
Right.
is basically due to family reasons.
Perfect.
So, and then I also realized I don't really want to grow in that company. So I thought it
Mhm.
was an okay-ish decision to make. I wasn't
Obviously.
really, yeah. I don't think I
And
hesitated.
you, apart from that, what are your hobbies as a person? I mean, yeah,
Yeah, I like painting, although like I'm not good at it, but it's fun. It's nice. I like writing. I used to actually write poetry at one point, and then I kind of stopped.
mm-hmm.
I also love board games. I don't know if you ever heard of the game Catan, but it's fun. It's kind of a strategy
Probably
game,
not.
but it's inter yeah, it's actually really nice. Yeah, and then like, I like exploring new spots, outdoor activities like hikes,
Right.
going to the beach. Yeah, and traveling basically. Yeah, it's like I like exploring new things and doing different stuff.
Awesome. Awesome. I think, the other thing that I actually make a point is that many people who have been into the corporates, so they carry that hangover of their profession in their personal life as well, and then they, kind of stop socializing, stop thinking
Oh
themselves as
yeah,
more of
yeah,
a human
yeah.
level, you see. And I went through that kind of a phase myself,
Oh,
wherein I was so much. So I have got my background working more into the customer support. Like my very
okay.
first profession, I actually got started. And when I realized that I really love speaking, and then I have a knack or like a passion towards, speaking with people and then comforting them, or like any which ways, speaking communication industry is something is mine, is what I feel, and I want to take myself to the highest order of, or like to the highest level of, a communicator, a great communicator somebody can be. So that is when I
No, I
realized
think
when I, yes, please.
I'm sorry, go on. Keep going.
No, no, please uh,
No, I
proceed.
was just gonna say this is definitely like a great goal to look forward to because honestly speaking, a lot of us we underestimate the power of our communication and like the impact.
Exactly.
So thinking about it from this perspective, like you actually want to be an influential communicator is actually a great one.
Right. What I've realized, I mean, I'm a kind of a person, I understand things in a very simple form, Renat. And
Mm.
for me, I was like, do I want to do investment banking or management
Mhm.
consulting or like some things like that? Because see, the options are like unlimited, right? Like there are
Mhm.
like n
Mhm.
numbers of options for you to have a good career. But it's
Mhm.
not all about the career, but along with that, it's about you. Where are you finding yourself, the true self of yours, right? There's a natural skill that you feel it, and I felt like, I can be a good management consultant or like a cybersecurity expert, like the hardest of the profession that somebody can
Yeah.
think of. But I think the most challenging thing that the biggest of the organizations lag behind, or the leaders lag behind, is the people management. I think it is the most hardest skill.
Oh, 100%.
We all think that people managing is like, just you saying something as a task to do, and then the person will do it based on the
No.
hierarchy and the authority that you, the position that you are in, it, they are bound to do it, but it
Mhm.
isn't the case.
No, no, no,
And
no, no, it's not. Because honestly, like I can, for example, like if I'm more senior than you, I can give you a task and then you can give it back to me like in a very poor shape. Like if you don't like me, you know what I mean?
exactly, yeah,
So no, it's
because
not authority.
any order that, or like any order that I'm passing on for you to do it, you would do that work based on the kind of a perception you have towards me. And
Yeah, I
people
agree.
management skill is something that I've always see that nobody talks about that, but that I was blessed enough to have people in my life who have made me realized the understanding of the people management skills, and that is where I've worked upon on my people managing skills, and that has what has led me to become a communicator, is what I'm, as in I'm referring myself, and it has
No,
always been the case.
no,
But
that makes a lot of sense.
during my
And
prime
it's good to
time,
hear that.
thank you so much. But during my prime time, what happened was that because I was getting so much into communication and got myself so much into the technicality of it, that I realized that I'm losing my existence or like identity as a person, which is again, it is good to you. You need to have games. You need, like, as a hobby, you need to love playing games, going traveling,
Yeah.
socializing yourself. You just cannot be on the front of the computer and then, completely making a whole new AI out of yourself.
No, 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 no. Yeah, and that's not me, honestly. I mean, I that's like I honestly I can't do that anymore. I'm done.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we love people and we love to, have a community
Yeah,
of people who can
exactly.
have a
We're
balance
social
of their
creatures.
profession. And then we appreciate, you being absolutely with full of activities in your personal life. I mean, many people tell me like they love singing, they love reading, and then they like to go out. And I really don't get that kind of a, statement. But wherein, like, obviously, if I talk about, I love speaking with new people, as I mentioned in the very first of
Okay,
our
yeah, I mean,
conversation. So that is something I do it. I
mhm,
love, exploring the AIs, different AI tools.
mhm.
That's also one of my hobbies. I love playing cricket. Again, when it comes
Oh,
to me not
nice.
knowing the board games. So the reason is because in India, or at least the kind of a place I come from, we have a huge craze with the cricket. Or at least India has been fantasized with, the cricket game as like at the top of it.
Oh yeah,
So
100%. Which part of India are you from? I have a lot of Indian friends.
awesome. So I'm actually from the southeastern part. Like I grew up in the southeastern part of India, which is again one of the state called West Bengal, if you have heard about, which share the closest border to Bangladesh.
Yeah,
Okay.
one of my friends is actually from there.
Like is he or she is from Calcutta? I think from West Bengal, if he or she is, then
I know she's from that area, but like I don't really know the specifics.
perfect, perfect. It's good to know that you have your experiences or with again Indians. So awesome. Saying
Yeah.
that, Renad, I think we have had all of my questions that we wanted to get answered. I'll just quickly stop the recording here.